How to Manipulate a Manipulator, the Dark Psychology Playbook. Welcome to Vantage Aditya. Before we begin, a warning. This is not comfortable. This is not peaceful. This is not motivational sunshine. This is dark psychology. And if you stay with me till the end, you will understand something life-changing about people who manipulate you, and something even more shocking about yourself, because the truth is brutal. Manipulators don't control you because they are strong. They control you because they understand your softness better than you do. And today, we flip that power. Stay, listen, absorb. This might be the most important relationship lesson you ever learn. Picture someone you know, a coworker, a partner, a close friend, maybe even a family member. At first, they made you feel special, seen, valued, important. They said the right things, asked the right questions, and showed the right interest at the right time. Everything felt effortless, like a connection that was meant to be. But slowly, almost invisibly, their language began to change. A small comment turned into a criticism. A missing detail became your fault. A disagreement became a personality flaw. Suddenly, you were defending things that didn't need defense, apologizing for things you didn't do, and bending yourself into shapes that didn't belong to you. And the terrifying part is, you didn't even realize when it started. That is manipulation. It begins with comfort. It ends with control. But here's the twist. Manipulators don't actually want you. They want to own the version of you that is easiest to control. So how do you beat someone like that? How do you break the system that is built to break you? How do you manipulate a manipulator without becoming the villain in your own story? Let's begin. The first rule is understanding the fuel they run on. Manipulators feed on 3 psychological nutrients: ego, attention, and control. And every trick they use is designed to reinforce one or more of these emotional appetites. If you remove any of the 3, they weaken. If you remove all 3, they fall apart. Think about a recent moment when someone tried to twist your words. You asked a simple question like, "Why didn't you call?" And suddenly the conversation flipped. "Why are you so anxious? Why are you so needy? What's wrong with you?" You were asking about behavior. They turned it into identity, and you ended up defending your character instead of discussing what happened. That's the trap. And here's the reversal. You answer with complete emotional neutrality. Something like, "Noted. I expected the call. It didn't happen." We move on. No emotion. No justification. No chase. Your calmness starves their ego. Your composure starves their control. Your silence starves their attention. In that single moment, without attacking or defending, you have already manipulated the manipulator. And if that sounds simple, stay. It gets darker. There is a weapon most people underestimate: silence. Not angry silence. Not dramatic silence. Controlled silence. Manipulators survive through language, rewriting memory, shifting blame, bending logic, and distorting truth, all through rapid, emotional dialogue. If you remain silent when they provoke or insult you, something fascinating happens. Their words no longer bounce off you, they echo back into them. They feel the weight of what they said, not because you reacted, but because you didn't. Silence is not passive. Silence is psychological pressure. And here's the twist. The more silent you remain, the louder their insecurity becomes. They talk more. They explain more. They defend more. They contradict themselves more. In trying to control you, they lose control of themselves. That's manipulation through absence. And it is devastating. Now watch this. One of the most offensive things you can ever do to a manipulator is mirror their behavior. Not because it hurts them, but because they have no defense against their own tactics. If someone ignores you for 48 hours, do nothing. No panic. No texts. No explanation. no emotional chase. And when they come back with, "Why aren't you responding?" you respond with calm honesty. "I assume this was the way we communicate now." That sentence does not just confuse them, it exposes them. Manipulators are not prepared for self-reflection. They can weaponize silence, but they cannot swallow it. They can dish out distance, but they cannot digest it. Mirroring does not punish them emotionally. It punishes them structurally. And once they feel their technique fail, they begin chasing control again. This time, from you. Imagine that shift. The manipulator starts seeking permission, seeking approval, seeking emotional access, and they won't realize why. Here is the part most people never understand. Manipulators do not control you through dominance. They control you through conditioning. They reward you when you behave the way they want. They freeze you out when you don't. They make their approval feel rare. They make their affection feel expensive. They turn their attention into currency. And almost without noticing it, you begin adjusting your behavior to protect the connection. Here is the cruel truth. Manipulators don't need to force obedience. They shape it. So you reverse the economy. You reward respect. You punish manipulation. If they behave rationally, you offer warmth. If they manipulate, you offer distance. Not anger, not revenge, just calm separation. Slow replies, fewer words, flat tone, less access. And just like that, the manipulator starts adapting to you, adjusting their tone, modifying their language, shifting their behavior. Because the human brain will always chase what feels emotionally rewarding. They will have no idea they are changing. They will simply feel the urge to adjust. And that is the most perfect form of control. Now let's walk into a darker room. Manipulators are terrified of slow thinking. Their lies work only when energy is fast, emotional, and unstructured. So the next weapon is incredibly subtle. Slow everything down. If someone lies to you, do not attack the lie. Do not confront the story. Do not prove them wrong. Instead, ask open-ended questions. What happened next? And then, how did that work? Who else knows? When did this start? Why did that happen? Ask calmly. Ask neutrally. Ask repeatedly. The manipulator will try to build structure on unstable ground. The timeline will wobble. The facts will shift. The details will collide. They will trap themselves in their own narrative. And here's the best part. You didn't call them a liar. You didn't expose anything. You simply held space. They exposed themselves. Manipulation turned inward. But the most dramatic power shift happens when you remove the foundation they stand on. Exclusivity. Manipulators need to feel like they are your only emotional anchor, your only guidance system, your only source of truth or clarity or validation. They need isolation to dominate. So you break the isolation. You build external connection. You speak to more people. You ask more voices. And in doing so, the manipulator becomes replaceable. And nothing kills manipulation faster than irrelevance. Suddenly, the person who once controlled your emotional climate becomes just another voice in the room. And that collapse of uniqueness destroys their leverage. Manipulators are not afraid of losing you. They are afraid of losing their throne. And once the throne breaks, the game ends. Now we reach the sharpest edge. Manipulators rely on predictability. They need to know which emotional trigger produces which reaction. They need to know which silence means fear and which silence means anger. They need to know when you panic, when you explain, when you chase, and when you break. So the final weapon is becoming unreadable. Not emotionally chaotic, but behaviorally unpredictable. Answer at unexpected times. Reply calmly when they expect rage. Show interest when they expect distance. Walk away when they expect persuasion. Remove your pattern, and you remove their power. A manipulator without prediction becomes a manipulator without strategy. And a manipulator without strategy becomes nothing at all. So here is the truth most people never hear. To manipulate a manipulator, you do not need cruelty. You do not need aggression. You do not need revenge. You need clarity. You need control. And you need to stop playing on their emotional ground. If you can do this, listen without defending, speak without explaining, stay without needing, and leave without fear, no manipulator on this planet can own you. You don't just win, you end the game. Welcome to Vantage Aditya.